Okay, in Queensland now, catching up with Peter McMullen and Chantal Turpin. Firstly, Pete, hello to you.
How are you?
Very well. And Chantal, this is your second time. You actually had to go and do a school pickup, which you're going to get this one finished as well. We did do it all talking trotters earlier on, but thank you for joining me again.
No worries.
We're here in Queensland. We're about an hour from Albion Park, out in a beautiful, peaceful little part of the world out here. How long have you guys been here for, Pete?
Getting close to 10 years. Chantal and I bought the place with nothing here and slowly setting it up.
So there was nothing here at all, not even a house, Chantal? Or?
No, the house was here.
But that's it. That was all there was.
Yeah.
And it's a labour of love. When you came here, did you have expectations, or did you, I suppose, want to be as big as what you are now, Pete?
Maybe. I don't know if Chantal sort of agrees with that, but I sort of always wanted to do horses and always dreamt sort of pretty big. So yeah, always wanted to sort of just keep growing.
How many horses do you have how many horses you got in work at the minute, Chantal?
Oh, probably 40. I don't like to count.
And staff is an issue for you out here as well. How many staff, or is it just pretty much you guys?
We got Hayden and Bree with us. They're full time, and then we have another fella, Darren Abbott, who comes a day a week.
That'll keep you, that won't help you, but also it's still full on job.
Yeah, it is. It's we probably can't thank them enough. We do long hours, and they're there behind us, helping us.
Walk in, walk out yards, and no walls. I would imagine, other than probably the middle of winter, that's all you want up here. You want nice breeze. Would that be the way? That's why you've designed them this way, Pete?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Queensland weather, sort of you need it pretty open to keep it pretty cool, and we're in a pretty good spot. We've got a fair bit of shade, so it's quite nice like that. And obviously this year's been a little bit wet, but normal years it's always perfect, really. One
of the big things that people believe or think is that Queensland is warm all year round. Does it get cold here at all? Like, there are some parts of Queensland that can get very cold, but here, is it too bad?
Yeah, during winter we think it gets cold. It probably isn't really, but being Queenslanders, we sort of think it's freezing. But for 3 months of the year, it's pretty cool. But the other 9's pretty warm.
Pretty warm. You got a beautiful track. Looks like it's got a lot of heavy sand on it. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely. It's a heavy sand track. Gets them working.
Does that, when it rains, because you guys get pretty heavy rain, so it'll stand up to the rain too with the heavy sand?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We just try not to put the jogger on it when it's the rain days, because that ruins it.
Yeah, and they can. And you've only got the one work track, and it gets you out of trouble all year round.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're going pretty good training wise. We were talking about the trotters there before, but your whole team actually, must be wrapped with how it's going. When you came here 8 years ago, Pete said he'd hoped it. Is this where you sort of thought you'd get to?
Probably not as big as we are. I probably like to keep the numbers around 30, but Pete has a tendency of saying yes all the time. But yeah, no, they're all going well.
But on the racetrack, is that like how they're performing, when you're taking them away to the races? Is that how you're hoping they would be going?
Yeah, we probably don't want horses that aren't going to pay their own way. As long as they're paying their own way for the owners, that's all that matters.
That's one of the things, isn't making it profitable. I mean, Pete, you said there before it was a little bit of your dream, but dreams sort of have to be profitable, especially you've got 2 young kids as well, so you've got to be able to make ends meet, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. You've got to sort of be able to race pretty well, and I think this year our strike rate's been pretty good, which is always good for the owners, and starting to win a few more feature races, which is always great. It means the owners can reinvest and really enjoy sort of watching the horses race in them feature races.
That's one of the steady progressions, isn't it? You can get your numbers and you can win 50 races for the year, but it's then trying to target to say win that 50, but win the next level up, and then trying to keep it going from there.
Yeah, I think so. We're probably each year we've been getting pretty big numbers of winners, but the last couple of years it's probably stepped up, and probably having the babies and having more stakes races for them probably helped in that situation a bit, and won a couple of Group 1s the past couple of years and things like that.
Do you remember your first Group 1?
My first Group 1, it was on a trotter. I drove a trotter, my Valerie. For Pat Driscoll.
Yeah, and the rest of trotters. I got everything on. I'm going okay. He sponsors the other show. Do you remember your first Group 1 as a trainer?
Yeah, Big Wheels. He won the triad.
Yeah. So they're always special. Do they make it easier once you've done that? Like, I've never done it. I never will, because I don't have a trainer's license anymore. But does it make it easier for you, or like going to Group 1s after that, knowing that you can win?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it does probably make it easier that you've got the confidence in yourself.
To be there, you belong there, and that's always part and parcel. Like from afar looking in, like Queensland is, I would say, boutique is probably the best way to put it as far as the trainers and that goes. You win a Group 1, then you can sort of say, well, I belong in that Group 1 style of race. Is that how it works?
Yeah, probably. There's we all see each other every day with only having the 2 tracks. So there are a lot of hobbyists, but we do need them to keep our sport going.
Is that part good?
Kinda. No, it is. I don't know. More tracks would be good. But in saying that, I don't like driving, so they're close, so that's good.
It's only an hour away, and that part's good. What are your goals like for you guys? I'm going to talk to Pete in a minute about his driving, and I'll let you jump out of the camera. But training-wise, Chantal, we said there before about your trotters, and you're getting more and more trotters, and they're going terrific. What are your goals? Is it to be consistently, would you like to be the leading trainer and consistently be leading trainer in Queensland, or is it just, I don't know, what's the answer?
No, probably not. I probably want to scale down eventually. We probably can't keep going. I don't know how Grant's done it for so long. It's pretty amazing. I'd probably like to spend more time with the girls.
Does that make it different when you've got the kids and they start growing?
Yeah, definitely. Riley's 7 already, so it won't be long and she won't think we're cool to hang around. So try and get as much time with them as possible.
Said that to you just before you came on. My daughter still thinks I'm cool, I think. If she's watching this and she doesn't agree, don't tell me that, Holly. Just leave it go. But, I think it is important. And that's, I think, in Victoria, it's one of the biggest struggles we have there too, is this life balance for participants. We have so many tracks and we'd go on 24/7, but I think it's something that lacks. I think with the thoroughbreds, because they do make so much more money, they can employ more people and they can get people. We still make okay money if you're winning the races, but it's just that life juggle of being able to have someone come and get some time to go away. I drove through Coffs Harbour on the way here, and I would like to take them to Coffs Harbour for a day. It just doesn't happen, does it?
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, the horses need feeding and water 7 days a week. So yeah, it's hard to get away and take them on holidays.
I'll let you off if you like. You can jump out of the picture now. Thank you very much for joining me, though. Thanks for joining me on Talking Trotters as well, and continue doing what you're doing, especially the trotters, Chantal.
Thank you.
Pete, Chantal, she didn't take much convincing to get out of the camera either. Did you notice that? Training-wise with Chantal, they're in Chantal's name as a trainer, mainly because you're a freelance driver as well. But the training part, do you agree with Chantal? You just want to try and just keep it where you can control it?
Yeah, I think so. I've had a big past few years, and I think it'd be nice just to probably scale back a little bit and spend some more time with the kids, and and just enjoy life a little bit. It's never going to stop, and we've got great clients, and a whole bunch of young horses coming through each year, so it's going to continue on for 2 years to come. But if we can just sort of, maybe just keep it a manageable number.
I spoke to Chantal there before about what Racing Queensland are doing and promoting, improving stake money, improving breeding bonuses and bonuses along the way. Are you wrapped with or happy with how they're actually doing in the way that it's progressing?
Yeah, Racing Queensland done a super job. The bonus has been a key factor. But what they've done for the young trotters and that sort of thing, it's been massive, and it's really creating a whole new avenue for participants to sort of venture into.
Are you getting more feedback, and we will get on to rock and roll dance in a sec, but are you getting more feedback around the breeding because of these breeding bonuses that they're starting to put in?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of sort of people down south have sort of sent mares up, and I'm sure people even sending mares to Queensland-based stallions to be able to gain that Q-bred bonus.
Yeah.
So, I think the Q-bred bonus, it's huge, and I think it's only going to grow, and I think it's going to be the way of the future.
I'll get it wrong. 14,000 first win, and that doesn't matter what year it is. I think up until about 5. Is that right?
Q-bred for life. So 14,000 first win.
No matter how old, even if it's a 7-year-old.
Yeah, they can be 10. Doesn't matter.
And then it's 7,000 for the second year.
Yeah, 7.5. Second bonus. It has to be a different season. That's all.
Yeah, and that's one thing I want people to be aware of, because it is awesome. It's just as long as it is. So if they win one in 2022, 2023 they'll get the bonus. They won't get a second bonus in 2022, but they will in 2023.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the season straight after. It can be 5 years later.
Yeah.
So it's a great setup how they've done it. So.
I spoke to Chantal there before about Venus Love, and she's got a knock on a tendon. The beauty of that bonus, it gives you the incentive. Like, you guys will be hoping she comes back. You want her back as a 3-year-old because she's a lovely horse. But if it takes 2 or 3 years and she only wins one race, knowing that she's Q-bred and know that you can get that $7,000 bonus makes those long hours that you put into a horse to try and get them back to a racetrack worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Sometimes it can go both ways a bit. Sometimes a lot of people tend to sort of chase it a little bit too hard when they are Q-bred for life. So, you got plenty of time. So, I think personally it's a great thing. We should be just sort of, if they need a bit of time, we can give them time. But, we're only human. We all want to sort of get it as quick as we can.
Yeah, definitely, and that is a hard part. Chantal's took off now. I thought she was going to hang around, but that's okay. She does have to get the kids, but that's okay. We'll go to your driving, and then we'll get on to rock and roll dance. So please make sure everyone's aware, because these guys are standing Somerset Park. Is that right?
Somerset Farms, yes.
Farms are standing rock and roll dance. So hang around to the end of that, because he is doing a great job. Leader Peter, do you enjoy that nickname?
Yeah, I think it probably suits me. Probably try and spend as much time as I can in front.
Is that something that just come about, or was it something that you knew yourself before people started calling you Leader Peter?
Well, I was always sort of probably trying to be on the front end anyway, and then Lane Dwyer actually sort of started it when he was a little fella. He started calling me Leader Peter, and it just grew and got bigger, and it's sort of become a thing now.
You represented Queensland recently in the Globe Derby, and I think the question was asked, why do they call you Leader Peter? And that was basically your answer, because you like leading. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Ever since I sort of started driving, I was probably a bit of a gate speed driver, and I like to be on the front end, and the stats sort of show that majority of winners come from the front end, so that's sort of where you got to be in harness racing. It
can be a juggle, because you've got to be able to then rate them properly, and there's you can burn early, so you sit them up, but you're on the wrong style of horse. It can be a gift. Like a guy like Gavin Lang, you very rarely saw him in front. Like, he'd always be 1 or 2 pairs off and just judging the speed from there. Other drivers like Chris Alford, he likes to get themselves up onto the front and being in that forwards position, especially when you've got the stock underneath you. How do you judge your speed? Like, is there a trick that you have?
I don't know. That probably just comes natural, I suppose. When you go around a lot and train a lot of horses and different things. So, but it's not as simple as just going in front and going flat out. It's a lot of mathematics involved as well, and I sort of plan it a lot and try and sort of work it out. So when you hit the finish line, you're all out, but use as much as you can to win the race and try and mathematically get it right.
Yeah, and it is a skill, and exactly like you got to work out. Geez, did we do too much? And then, but as I said, sometimes you back them off, they can't go again. Sometimes you do too much, you're better off just letting them keep rolling and take the gas out of everyone else. So I think you do a good job, and it's a brave nickname, I'll give you that. But do the boys give you a stick about it, like the senior drivers out there?
No, not really. I think at times, I suppose, it has been a bit of a joke sometimes, but I think a lot of the younger generation has sort of adopted the same sort of tactics, and it's sort of probably a lot of us younger generation watch a lot of American racing, and obviously they go a lot faster over there, and I think we just try and sort of do the same sort of thing, and it becomes front end sort of dominated races.
Queensland racing, I reckon you guys were probably the first of the lean, albeit not as bad as some of the guys in Victoria. And I don't mind the lean, because I can understand why it works, and horses tend to run. I think people can overdo it as well. You're not bad on it. You're quite comfortable with the lean and that. But have you always enjoyed the way Queensland racing is? Have you always looked at Victoria and seen it's a bit funny when everyone was sitting forward?
Yeah, I think nowadays, we're starting to get coming down there too. But yeah, there was a period where Queensland was nearly the only one doing it.
Yeah.
And elsewhere weren't. But look, it's definitely has its methods behind it. From aerodynamics to lifting of the bike and the weight. It's giving the right spot, and as well as being able to pull back into the bridle a bit. It's there's got to be a reason why they do it in America when they're going faster. So I think if we want to go fast like them, we've got to watch and try and do as they do.
We don't have to look at Dexter Dunn. He never leant. and now
Yeah.
he's almost horizontal out the back, which, I think there's got to be a safety aspect and things like that. Whereas in Queensland, for mine, Queensland drivers haven't changed. The way you guys drive now is what I remember, 30 years ago when I came up here and saw your dad and all those guys driving. That was always there. Alan Donoghue, he was always that sort of that level back there, if you like. So it's always been here in Queensland. Do you enjoy Queensland racing?
Yeah, to be honest, I might be a bit biased, but I think Queensland racing is the best race in the country. Whether we got sort of fast class horses or sort of B graders, we race pretty hard, and I think our form stands up anywhere in the country too.
It does now.
Yeah.
It's funny how it works, isn't it? It goes through like ebbs and flows. Like I know there at one stage Victoria didn't have a fast class horse, then we had a heap of them, and probably now we're having a bit of a lull where we don't quite have them. New South Wales are always thereabouts, but up here, we saw Leap to Fame in Victoria, but I seen him at Tamworth. I mean, you guys have seen him for a while. He's just an incredible sort of horse, and he's probably as good as there is. So again, Queensland comes to the fore.
Yeah, definitely. We've had, I think it does go ups and downs a bit. Obviously years ago we had Black's a Fake and Big with Johnny, Slip and Slide, Flirt a Lil.
Colt 31 just
31,
recently.
Yeah, and now Leap to Fame, and I think he's as good as a horse I've ever seen. He gives me goosebumps just talking about him.
Yeah, he does, and I encourage people to. Myself and Cam Bray, we were fortunate, just timing. We were at Tamworth. We said, we'll go to Tamworth races, and it turned out he was in the Breeders' Challenge. That's where we went for. And to see him go 54 around that, bike track, like it's not Albion Park, it's not Menangle. He was just breathtaking to watch. He must be a frustrating horse for you guys to drive against too. So that'd be the worst part, the drive against him.
Yeah, I think there's no sort of way to beat him. A couple of times there, I've sort of. I thought I might have had him covered, and then next second Grant just moves a little bit, and away he goes. So.
Yeah, he's incredible response, isn't he? When you ask him, he's just got that way. And Grant, he doesn't need any help. He knows how to promote himself. Well, he doesn't promote himself. He just lets the horses do their talking on the track. Leading the premiership again this year. Do you have goals? And I would imagine right at the minute, you said there before about your kids, 7 and 4. I'll get into trouble with the two girls. But do you want to travel? Do you want to go overseas at some stage?
It's probably come and gone, to be honest.
How old are you, Pete?
31.
Yep.
So
I feel for you, mate. You're very old.
Yeah, no, I just, obviously a lot going on here and the kids and that sort of thing. And would have loved to have spent more time in America and different things. But
there was a group of you went at one stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've spent a couple of months there at different times, and loved every minute of it. But just always had so much going on here and never got to get back there. But yeah, as far as everything's going good here, so there's probably no real need to now.
What do you learn over there? Like, and when I say you, what is it? Because generally, no one goes backwards. They go to America, they come back, and they get better.
Oh, I think a lot of it's to do with just professionalism over there. Everything you do is looking after your horse properly, and to the way they drive, everything's spot on. No stone left unturned.
And they market themselves very well too with their colours and their branding, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Everything's just sort of spot on, and you can't fault them in any way.
Something you and Chantal are very big on. I know from afar, but I can always pick you, especially when you're in colours. Like, branding is very key for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's probably just something like that. We're trying to run a professional sort of stable, so I think you've got to try and look as professional as you can, and everything around it sort of probably got to try and push what you're sort of trying to achieve in your business.
Is it hard getting new owners? Like you said there before, you got a great group of loyal owners. With the prize money increasing in Queensland, is it getting a bit easier to get more owners?
I think it's a difficult question, that, because it's hard to get new owners into the industry.
Yeah.
And once again, it's sort of hard to market, what the horses can earn, and obviously our horses are doing quite well, but it's still hard to sort of get people to invest in yearlings and say, well, it's going to be 12 months before you get a return and all those types of things. So to get new owners into the industry is hard, no matter on what level you're racing or where you're racing in the country, which is the one thing I think the industry needs to improve on. But
do you enjoy, like you and Chantal, who deals with the owners mainly? How do you guys?
Probably usually me.
Yep. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yep.
But as I said before, we've got a great bunch of owners, and they're pretty hassle-free and allow us to do what we need to do, which is excellent. And you don't have to sort of worry about what their thoughts are, as far as we can train the horses and place them where they need to be placed, and if something needs to be done, we can take control and do it, which is excellent.
I asked you that question with, in all sincerity, because there are some trainers I know that won't talk to owners at all unless they're at the races and they see them face to face. And I think some of that's shyness as much as anything else. There are others that are just taking it to another level, especially in Victoria, where they're really raising the bar both through social media, text messaging and things like that. So it's a bit of a juggle on how much you take on sometimes. I just did an interview with Scotty Whitten actually, and I think at one stage he said he talks to Jared Orchin every day. Then he says, probably three times a week. So I would imagine it's probably in the middle. I'm sure Jared answers his phone whenever he does. Like it can be a juggle on your time and on your private life.
Yeah, it definitely can be, and we're lucky. Our owners, they've always sort of got quite a big bunch of horses, and so when you do talk to them, you can talk to them about numerous horses rather than having sort of 40 horses with 40 owners. But
ring them up and say one's got a foot abscess and sorry you're out of a race, but at least you can give them a highlight of something else.
Yeah. So, but I think the future's sort of obviously like technology, and I know some driving things from different groups of owners. We do little videos post race and those sort of things. I think they're excellent. And that's a good way of promoting sort of syndicates and different things.
The beauty of those too, and if anyone's watching, the thing about it is if your owner's actually the party and your horse has just won a race, and you stand in front of the thing and say how great this is, you may get one extra person. He might show that to 20 people straight after the horse has won. This is what we get since the horse wins. You may get one extra person. That's one of the other parts about it, about marketing and getting it out on a different platform. Yeah,
definitely. And obviously the thoroughbreds do it a lot, and obviously they've got big syndicates and a lot of people, so they've got to get it out to numerous people. And it's working for them, so there's no reason why it wouldn't work for us.
They had to stop them down there in Victoria, especially racing.com. They were doing the videos before they were doing the jockey interviews, and they had to say, no, you got to do the jockey interviews because they were waiting for them. Yeah. So that's how professional they are with the thoroughbreds. They want it instantly and get this straight away, the response, and get it straight out to the owners, which is key. As far as your driving, so you're just going to continue going, and your training, just want to probably get more winners. Would that be the best way of putting it?
Yeah, I think
more big winners. Sorry.
Yeah, I think for the driving, I think I'll probably slow down a little. Maybe I don't know when. I seem to say it a lot, and it never seems to happen. But I'll probably slow down at some stage a little bit and try and spend a bit more time, at the farm and with the kids. So, and
do you enjoy tonight? Like you're going to Redcliffe tonight. How far is Redcliffe from you?
Redcliffe about an hour and a half.
And they're just catch drives tonight. Do you enjoy that part of it?
Yeah, I do. I do sort of love taking our own horses to the races and driving them.
Have you got one of your own in tonight or not?
No, tonight's just drive, so it makes life a bit easier. But I really enjoy driving ours as well.
Yeah, it's always a juggle. Like I know the likes of Chris Elford. I go to his place. He loves playing around the house. And he enjoys driving winners, but he also likes cleaning up and tidying. So there is always that thing. Somerset Farm, a new venture. Have you stood a stallion before this season?
No, it's something very new. So
yeah. And you've got Rock and Roll Dance, who I can put my hand up. I've got a yearling in the front paddock by him. Underrated stallion. Firstly, are you excited about having him, and how's the response been for him here in Queensland?
Yeah, definitely excited about Rock and Roll Dance. He's done a super job so far. Obviously, probably 3 of our best horses are all by him, and he just gets winners day in, day out, and so it's a new venture and pretty excited about it.
How did it come about?
It's something I've sort of thought about doing for a while.
So you pursued it?
Yeah, a little bit. Convincing Chantal was a little bit hard, but yeah.
She wants to do less, and you're bringing in a stallion. People are saying you've got rocks in your head.
Yeah, but yeah, we're sort of with the Q-bred bonus and that sort of thing. We thought it was probably a good time to sort of start it and give it a go, and we're able to get a Rock and Roll Dance, which was for a first stallion, pretty amazing, really.
Have you guys bred your own horses over the journey?
Yeah, we've always sort of bred small numbers. It's starting to get a little bit bigger, so yeah, it's probably just the other side of things a little bit.
The best horse you guys would have bred? Throw you under the bus a bit because you'll be in trouble. You better say Chantal's favourite first.
No, we've got a nice 3-year-old trotter. Will be late. He's only obviously young, hasn't had many starts.
He's the one that's down in Victoria for New South Wales. Over the Victorian Derby, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's probably the best one so far.
Yeah, which Dance. I don't think Dance has left the trotter. He might have. He's done a few things. here's a much maligned horse rock and roll dance because I do quite a few shows which entails going through and doing a lot of form. Very, very rarely will he not sire a winner for the week, if not multiple winners.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't even realise sort of how many winners he was getting until I sort of started looking to advertise a bit. And there's at least a half a dozen or more every week, and usually every day there's multiple winners from different states, different tracks, and
young, old, he can do it all, which is good.
Well, they seem to get better with age.
Yeah.
He is the sire of Barroom Banner, the fastest 2-year-old in the country, but they just seem to continue to get bigger and better every year. So I think they're just sort of starting to come through now.
Are you enjoying it? Because it is hard. Chantal said to me there before that when I was ringing, I think last night, she was just, I forget how she said it, but something dance, and I thought I was with the girls, but no, it's collecting him. Are you enjoying it, or is it a little bit more than what you were expecting?
No, it's a little bit different, but no, really enjoying it. And a few of the airport runs can be a little bit of a nuisance, but other than that, everything's going really good. It's sort of exciting, really, more than anything.
What's he stand for?
37.50.
37.50. Do you guys are you like New South Wales, get a bonus back when you have the foal?
No, I don't think Queensland do that.
No, I don't think they do either. I think it's only New South Wales that do that, but he's still not there at that price anyway. So
no, I think he's very reasonable at that price. Especially when you start looking at all the statistics, they match up with all the good ones.
How's he been received?
Pretty good. But it's been a little bit slow to start with, but as the season goes on, we're getting more and more mares. Yeah.
Does this whet the appetite? Are you going to potentially get some more stallions?
We haven't ruled it out, so we just sort of
Have you discussed that with Chantal?
Not really.
She's going to watch this and go, no, I don't know that. Don't want to know that. You've got 40 acres. You actually got 80 acres next door. So obviously you are thinking of the future and trying to make yourselves a little bit future-proof, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably just part of sort of growing as things go. And obviously we had this farm, 40 acres here, and that's sort of about 18 months ago we were able to buy the block next door, another 40 acres. So it's slowly piecing together, and eventually I think it'll end up being quite nice.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's got a great feel. I love how quiet it is. It's just ridiculously peaceful. And is it always like this? Or?
Yeah, it's usually always. It's really quiet, and it's just lovely and relaxed sort of environment.
Yeah. Pete, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me 5 minutes. I've been annoying you on the phone while you've been trying to get some fencing and that done, but at least I got you out of that. You can go to Redcliffe, you can get going a little bit earlier for that. But thanks for joining me. Well done for everything you guys are doing. And people have to be aware that we need more breeders because there's less and less breeding stocks. I think well done to you guys. You'll be one of the youngest stud masters to come along for a long, long time in the industry, full stop. So well done to you for taking that on and trying to improve our breed, mate. So thank you very much for joining me. Keep driving the winners, mate, and keep being leader, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank